This is BNN, the most trusted name in nonsense.
Okay, gavel this motherfucker to order.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I hadn't really planned on today was, what I was going to talk about. What was I going to share that I thought was important enough to share with anybody? And in the opening part of our Dullards Club meeting, as it were. And by the way, I suppose I shouldn't say this is the Dullards Club. I mean, if you don't know that by now, then
then how the hell did you get here? When I was preparing, I was realizing that I have a few things that are not necessarily worthy of lengthy discussion, but they are certainly things that I think I'd love to get your takes on it.
Well, what do you want to talk about, Don?
By extension, our listeners/viewers' takes on it. I heard an expression that I had not heard of before, and I'll pretty much be willing to bet that Rich has heard of it. Pat, and you may well have as well, but I hadn't. And it's called beg talk, akin to TikTok. And there are people who are going on TikTok looking for money. I'm short of my rent this week. If everybody out there can Venmo me $5, I can make my rent. It's like, what the hell? Is that what really we've come to?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And to be honest, I had never heard of that before.
It was, I don't know that it's everywhere yet, but there were a couple examples. It's an extension, it seems, of the GoFundMe or whatever, Mm-hmm. And usually those are related to charity. Somebody has a particular hardship, and you ask us in a sort of group of friends. But TikTok, come on, there's enough crap on there now. I don't want to say the problem with it. We should all be as generous as we can within reason. And there have been more than one study that has determined that some of those folks who are quote-unquote panhandling are doing better than some of us who are gainfully employed or were gainfully employed. So it becomes a matter of what you decide to do.
If you can't afford your rent, but you're on TikTok,
well, yeah,
something's not right there. You should give up your internet.
Well, and it follows up one of the things I was going to mention, and this may be worthy of a lengthier discussion or not. I would like to know your opinion. What do you think the workforce is going to be like 10 years from now? It may not take 10.
I think it's bad now. I think people are actually taking into consideration whether or not any job that they might apply for can be replaced by AI. I'm sure that's a consideration.
And that's exactly the point I was trying to make. There were countless videos of people. I just graduated with a computer science degree, $120,000 in debt, and I've applied to 150 whatever his places, and I just got rejected at Walmart because I need something to pay my bills, but you're overqualified. Well, I need a goddamn job. I got to pay my bills. If I had a kid now who was in junior high or younger or whatever, I think I would really steer them toward a trade, electrician, plumber, whatever it is, because you'll never be out of work. You can't get AI to string pipes or whatever.
We were talking about, this made me think of something we were discussing a couple of episodes ago about influencers.
Right.
And I can envision, I haven't seen it yet, but I can envision in the near future, an AI influencer, totally AI generated, looks like a real person, talks like a real person, and gaining millions of followers.
I would be willing to bet that it exists already, because that's a pretty simple thing to do. And
it's just a question.
Well, some of them already do talk like. A real person.
Well, you laugh, but I got sucked into it just goes to show you how it's getting better. I got sucked into watching, again, it was about, what the hell was it? Fuel additives. Some stupid thing that was on YouTube. And
You are an interesting guy, Don. You were researching fuel additives.
Well, it was somebody had referred to it saying, don't get this because they all have, this is the magic ingredient. So I started looking up, reviews or whatever. And son of a bitch, if there's not one with probably a 30-something Asian gentleman, and he's on camera just talking head, and speaking not robotically. And I'm watching and listening, I'm saying, son of a bitch, his lips are fucking on. They're not right on. They're not matching. Maybe he didn't take a couple of minutes, but it was close enough that you assumed it was legit. And then I said, you son of a bitch, you're a fucking AI.
It's a syncing issue with some things.
No, but it was in sync, but his mouth wasn't making the right shapes for the words coming out.
Yeah,
and I said, you son of a... And then I saw that same person in a couple of other videos I've seen him talking about something else. I said, you bastards. So I'm getting sucked in because it's getting better.
This reminds me of another conversation that we had about customer service, where even that industry is going to completely change. It's going to probably disappear. But the story that I read was really hilarious, and it brought home the point because it was about this guy who had a bank account at a bank in Illinois somewhere. And because of his job, he got transferred, and he had to change some of his contact information at the bank. So he contacted the bank, and he explained the situation, and the customer service rep says, I'm sorry, I can't help you. You're going to have to come into the bank. And the guy says, well, that's not possible. It's totally inconvenient because I'm in a different country. And the woman says, well, I don't know if it was a woman, it could have been.
The voice, she says.
She says, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. And the guy says, well, would it make a difference if I told you I was the Pope? And she hung up on him.
Wow.
And it was the Pope.
Get out of town, no.
It was.
Is this a legit story?
This sounds like this should be in our joke segment.
I was just about to save that for the joke segment.
It is a legit story.
Stop
The Pope had a bank account and a residence in Illinois.
Well,
and
that's plausible. We all know that.
When he got elected Pope, I'll find the article and I'll send it to you.
Do that, please.
Okay.
I'm not doubting you per se. I'm doubting the originator. Well, I'm doubting the originator of the story.
Now, wait a second.
Isn't
there like a separate line at the bank for
popes,
Pope,
for deities?
you just kind of move right through there. God.
All right, Pat, let's have it. What do you got?
Well, it's time for some jokes.
I
think we've gone well over into joke time here. And what I wanted to do is deconstruct one because it's a blonde and a redhead that have a ranch. Now, that's the starting point. What do we all assume about these two women?
Well,
and we assume that they're women because they are called a blonde and a redhead, not a man.
Not a carrot top and a
ginger.
Okay, we assume that the blonde is dumb and that the redhead is a knockout or something. I don't know.
They've just lost their bull, and the women need to buy another one, but they've only got $500. So the redhead tells the blonde, I will go to the market and see if I can find one for under the amount that we have, and I'll send you a telegram when I find it. So she goes to the market and she finds a bull for $499. So she says she's got $1 left. She goes to the telegraph office and she finds out that it costs $1 per word to send a telegram back to the blonde. So
it's a lot of if. Okay.
Exactly. All right. And these are all plausible scenarios, right?
Sure.
So she's stumped on how she could tell the blonde that she found the bull. But finally, she tells the telegraph operator to send just one word because that's all the money she's got left. And the word is comfortable. Okay. So
the bull.
Oh, come on. Comfortable. Okay. All right. So we've not only did we deconstruct it, we decomic.
Defunified it.
Yeah, we funified.
I apologize, but
All right, now.
it was just so obvious.
All right. Who else has got something?
I got one. It's a two-part dad joke. This is a terrible joke, I'll admit from the beginning, but
Okay.
I've always found it amusing. Anyway, the first part is this guy goes to France and he's doing all the touristy stuff. He goes to the Arc de Triomphe, the Eiffel Tower, etc. And he's visiting Notre Dame Cathedral, and he gets separated from the group, and he finds this doorway that leads up to the bell tower. And he gets to the top of the bell tower.
We should
and
play
who
a
does he
guess
see
the
but-
punchline thing.
What?
We should have a guess the punchline episode. Good.
Anyway, he gets to the top and he sees Quasimodo, the hunchback of Notre Dame. And Quasimodo's over in the corner. He's all hunched up. And the guy says, "Oh, my God, this is amazing." He says, "Quasimodo," he says, "do me a favor.
He's hunched
Ring
up.
the bell."
That's great.
What?
He's all hunched up.
So anyway, he says, "Quasi, ring the bell, ring the bell." And Quasimodo says, "I can't ring the bell. You must do it yourself." So the guy goes over and he yanks the rope and nothing happens. And he says, "Quasimodo, what's going on?" He says, "You must hit the bell with your face." The guy looks at him. He says, "You crazy?" And he says, "Ah, what the hell?" So he grabs a hold of the bell and he whacks his face into it. And the bell rings. The guy loses his balance and falls backwards out of the bell tower and drops to his death. And a crowd of people has gathered, and they're looking at this guy, and they look up and they see Quasimodo looking down, and some guy yells up, Mr. Moto, do you know this man?" And Quasimodo looks down
Mr. Moto.
and says, he says, "No, but his face rings a bell."
There's a
Now-
follow-up. Yeah, okay.
This is part 2. A year later, the guy's twin brother goes to France to find out what happened to his brother. He tracks him down. The last place that he was at was the Notre Dame Cathedral, and he does the same thing. He climbs the stairs. He sees Quasimodo. Ring the bell. He says, "No, you must hit it with your face." The guy hits it with his face again, loses his balance, falls backwards out of the bell tower, drops to his death. A crowd of people gathers and says, "Mr. Moto, do you know this man?" Quasimodo looks down and says, "No, but he's a dead ringer for a guy that was here about a year ago."
Now, we can either go with Polish joke or we can go with a non-Polish joke. Do you have a preference? We don't care, right?
Well, we certainly don't care. And a joke is the one place where you can take a
All right.
stereotype and just
And-
grind it into the ground.
And given our audience, we're certainly not going to offend anyone.
That's true. Let's go. Okay. So I may share more than one. Three
All
men
right, get on with
were all applying for the same job as a detective. One was Polish, one was Jewish, and one was Italian. Rather than ask the standard questions during the interview, the chief decided to ask each applicant just one question and base his decision upon that answer. When the Jewish man arrived for the interview, the chief asked, "Who killed Jesus Christ?" The Jewish man answered without hesitation, "The Romans killed him." The chief thanked him and he left. When the Italian man arrived for his interview, the chief asked the same question. And the guy replied, "Jesus was killed by the Jews." Again, the chief thanked the man and then left. When the Polish man arrived for his interview, he was asked the exact same question. He thought for a long time before saying, "Could I have some time to think about it?" The chief said, "Okay, but get back to me tomorrow." When the Polish man arrived home, his wife asked, "How did the interview go?" He replied, "Great. I got the job and I'm already investigating a murder."
Okay. Well, it's a Polish joke, so
I know. All right, last one. Guy in the bar leans over to the guy next to him and says, "Want to hear a Polish joke?" The guy next to him replies, "Well, before you tell that joke, you should know something. I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and I'm Polish." The guy sitting next to me is 6'2", weighs 225, and he's also Polish. And the fellow next to him is 6'5", weighs 250, and he is Polish. Now, do you still want to tell that joke? First guy says, "Nah, I don't want to have to explain it 3 times.
and with that, it's time to stump the dullard.
All right.
Oh, thank God.
Well, since I always have like the worst and most easy stumpers,
Okay.
I'll go and just get this one out of the way because Rich usually has the most obscure, difficult
He's got the
ones
toughest
to go.
ones, by-
yeah, he
by-
really
for
does.
sure.
Yeah. But here's one, and again, it's the attempt isn't so much to stump, it's just to make one think.
Okay.
So, what future TV star played in the original or for the original Boston Celtics?
Oh.
Robert Parrish isn't camera friendly, so it can't be him.
No, but I will say, and it's funny you mention that because Kevin Garnett was in Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. He played a big part in that movie. But that's not an old time.
Right.
Is it an old time Celtic?
Television or movie?
A future TV star.
TV
So this
star.
person wasn't a TV star
Oh!
yet.
No, I'm thinking of football, and that was Alex Karras. I don't know.
Remember the rifleman?
Sure, Chuck Connors.
Chuck
that's
Connors.
right.
Oh,
Chuck
yeah.
Connors.
He
Yeah,
was on the
also-
Celtics. I knew he played
Yes, he
basketball.
was.
Yeah, he was.
I
He
remember
also
reading
played
that.
first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers. This is
No
all in the
kidding.
50s. This is back when those guys didn't make any money at all. They had to have like part-time jobs. You know, the average wage back in 1950 was like $13,000 a year, which I mean,
It's a
then
buck-
it's,
Minimum wage was probably like $1 an hour.
yeah, it was close to that I recall.
Well,
But
I was going to
speaking
say,
of-
what year was this? I can tell you
You have a
exactly.
job when you were 5?
Well, speaking of the Celtics, what Major League Baseball pitcher won a World Series title as well as 3 championships with the Boston Celtics?
Ooh.
That wouldn't have been Danny Ainge.
No
would it?
clue.
No,
No, but that's a good guess. But this is earlier. This is
Okay.
again going back into that.
Havlicek?
No. All right. This is a guy by the name of Gene Conley. Gene
Don't know.
Conley was a pitcher. He pitched for the Red Sox for a little while, but he also pitched and won a World Series with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Wow.
No kidding.
Yeah, the Brewers, and then went on to play for the Red Sox and won 3 championships for the Boston Celtics. So
Jeez,
Wow.
that's pretty good. That's pretty talented. Well, I mean, we always forget that Tom Brady was basically drafted by a baseball team. He was a.
He was.
He had to make a choice. Do you want to play pro football or pro baseball?
where
All
do you
right.
want to be a millionaire?
Right.
Yeah.
I got stumpers. I got stumpers
right.
I started. I was going to do previously, but let's do it this for real. It's all Barney Miller. We all know and love Barney Miller. Okay, I think we touched
Oh,
on
we all
this.
know who really loves Barney Miller.
Yes, exactly. Can you name the original cast members of Barney Miller? Now, I'm talking squad room cast members. Of the main ones that we all know and love,
All right,
there's only 2 who are still alive.
All right. There's Fish. There's Chano. There's Barney, obviously.
Yep,
There was Max Gale, who played Wojciechowicz.
yep.
There was Ron Glass, who played, what was his character name?
Harris.
Oh, yeah, Harris. Who am I missing? There's Levitt, but he came along
Well,
second,
and then
third
we
season.
talked about Landisberg, Arthur Dietrich.
Yep. And there was the Asian guy. It was
Jack Sue was Yamada.
Jack Sue.
It was Japanese. Okay, so what I found interesting as I'm watching these things, I'm watching this and saying, holy crap, that's so-and-so. Before Dietrich was Dietrich. He was in an earlier episode, he was a priest. He was a witness to something.
Yeah.
Levitt was a cat burglar in one of the early episodes.
Oh,
And lastly, I was surprised to remember Linda Lavin was on 5 early episodes as Detective Wentworth before
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah,
went
I
on to
remember her,
turn
yeah.
into Alice. Yeah.
yeah.
He turned right
I
into
got-
Alice.
Well, before she turned
I
to
got
Alice.
I got a bunch of stumpers, but I'll not go into all of them because we don't have a lot
Well,
of time.
pick one.
But
Go ahead.
all right, you all know the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It went through a number of permutations before it became the Billboard Hot 100. My question is 2 parts. What year did it become the Billboard Hot 100? And what was the first song to reach number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100?
Not a clue on either thing. I'd say the Hot One probably started in the 50s. I'm
White
guessing.
Christmas, maybe, or something of that
Nope.
ilk. No,
You're right about the decade, Don.
50s. Blue on Blue or Blue Velvet, something like that. Bobby Vinton.
No,
that
Was it Elvis
maybe?
maybe? An Elvis Hound Dog?
nope, not Elvis. I'll give you the year. It was 1958. I'll give you a hint that'll probably give it away.
Okay.
He was also on a TV show.
I don't know. Maybe initials?
Well, just think about TV shows back then, and you might guess it.
Well, I don't remember TV. Well, other than Leave It to Beaver. Oh, I know. Ricky Nelson.
Ding, 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 ding. Ricky Nelson's
good.
Poor
Yep.
Little Fool was the first number one.
Poor Little
Hot
Fool was the
100.
first number one.
Yep. Yep.
Very good. I'm glad you pressed
Now,
the TV show.
I'll give you another one. And this is 1964. The week of December 5th, Billboard had a number one song that was not the Beatles. In fact, at the time, the Beatles were in the number 22 spot.
So
Was it Lauren
Shatner's-
Green with
it
Ringo?
wasn't- oh, there
Exactly,
you go.
Pat.
Very good.
Pat got it. Song is also kind of a spoken word.
Yes. Okay. I
Well,
was thinking,
one would hope.
Yeah.
As is our custom, this episode has devolved
yeah.
into I don't know what kind of an abyss it is, but this is where we find ourselves every week. Go to the dullardsclub.com and comment on what's going on. All of these episodes are available on the dullardsclub.com. Of course, you can always find us on YouTube, which is where you very well might have found us. You can find us on Spotify, all these different places. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down or any finger you like. And we'd appreciate hearing from you. And I guess that's going to do it for this week. Would you say?
I think that's a fine idea.
That's enough for me.
Let's see them next week. All right.
All right.
Have a great week, all.
All right.
Eversham.
Think of us.